Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys have subscribed to the channel so you never miss a video. So today we will be discussing Namvar Singh, Decolonizing the Indian Mind. We have already discussed Decolonizing the Mind by Gugiwa Thiago in the previous video. If you have a requirement, I do hope you check it out that. So today we will be discussing Decolonizing the Indian Mind by Namvar Singh. So let's get a little introduction about the writer first. So Namvar Singh was a prominent Indian literary critic, scholar and academician known for his significant contributions to Hindi literature and criticism. He was born on July 28, 1934 in Bihar. He completed his education at the University of Delhi, where he later served as a professor and the head of Department of Hindi. Namvar Singh was renowned for his critical analysis of Hindi literature. His works often explored the socio-political contexts of literary texts, providing deep insights into the cultural and historical significance of Hindi literature. He authored several influential books and essays on Hindi literature, including Chintamani and Kavita Ke Naye Pratiman. His scholarly work has also been instrumental in shaping modern Hindi literary criticism. Namvar Singh received numerous accolades for his contribution to the literature, including Sahitya Academy Award, the Padma Bhushan, and the Gyanpith Award, one of the India's highest literary honors. Namvar Singh played a crucial role in promoting Hindi literature both nationally and internationally. He was a strong advocate for the preservation and development of Hindi as literary language. As an educator, he mentored many young scholars and writers, nurturing a new generation of Hindi literary critics and authors. He was involved in various editorial and publishing projects, contributing to the dissemination of Hindi literary works and criticism. His legacy continues to influence Hindi literature and criticism, making him a towering figure in the literary world. His work has left an indelible mark on the understanding and appreciation of Hindi literature. Now let's get introduced with the text for today. Namvar Singh's essay, Decolonizing the Indian Mind, is a profound exploration of cultural and psychological impacts of colonization on India. Singh argues that the process of political decolonization, which marked as the end of formal colonial rule, did not fully address the deeper, more insidious form of cultural and intellectual colonization that continue to persist. He emphasizes the need of a comprehensive decolonization of the Indian mind to truly reclaim cultural and intellectual independence. The essay delves into the dominance of Western literature and the efforts by Indian writers to challenge the hegemony by writing in their own languages. Singh critiques the labels imposed by Western literary theorists, such as Third World literature, which he views as a form of Neo Orientalism that perpetuates Western cultural dominance. He also examines the complexities of nationalism and regional identity in Indian literature, reflecting on the impact of partition and the search for identity in works by Indian authors. He criticizes the new forms of colonization or neocolonialism, where Indian writers seek validation from Western critics, thereby perpetuating the Western hegemony. Throughout the essay, Singh emphasizes the importance of forming global networks of resistance against imperialism and advocates for nuanced understanding of tradition and modernity. He calls for Indian writers to actively engage in the process of decolonizing their minds and literature, ultimately contributing to a richer, more diverse global literary landscape. In essence, Namvar Singh's essay is a call to action for Indian writers to critically engage with their own colonial past, actively participate in ongoing process of decolonization both culturally and intellectually. Now let's take a closer look at the core concepts that Namvar Singh discussed in this essay. So the first is decolonization as a major historical event. Namvar Singh identifies decolonization as the most significant event of the 20th century, emphasizing that while political decolonization has occurred, the cultural and the intellectual colonization by Western power persists. This sets the stage for the need to critically examine and resist the ongoing cultural dominance of the West. The second is the hegemony of Western literature. Singh argues that the dominance of Western literature has been challenged by works from Latin America, Africa, and Asia. He highlights the efforts of Indian writers who, by writing in their own language, are contributing to the process of cultural decolonization. This challenges the Western centric literary canon. So, the third would be challenges of defining Indian literature. Singh critiques the labels imposed by Western literary theorists, such as Third World literature, where he sees it as a form of Neo Orientalism. He asserts that these labels, like Third World literature, perpetuates the dominance of Western literature and hinder the true cultural independence of non-Western literary traditions. I hope till here everyone is getting the overview of the core concepts. Now let's move on to the fourth concept, that was nationalism and identity. This essay explores the complex relationship between nationalism, regional identity, and literature. Singh questions whether contemporary Indian writers are as committed to the cause of decolonization as their predecessors. He reflects on the impact of partition on the Indian identity and its literary expressions. Now, the comparative analysis. Singh compares Rabindranath Tagore's Gora and U.R. Ananthamurthy's Samskara to illustrate the search for for identity in Indian literature. Both novels addresses same themes of identity crisis and the journey towards self-realization, albeit in different contexts with offering differing outcomes. The next theme discussed is critique of neo-colonialism. Singh criticizes the new forms of colonization termed as neo-colonialism, where Indian writers seek validation from Western critics. He argues that this perpetuates Western hegemony and calls for Indian writers to be more self reliant and confident in their own cultural and intellectual heritage. Now, he discussed the tradition versus modernity. This essay debates the tension between tradition and modernity. Singh warns against the simplistic return to pre colonial tradition and advocates for a nuanced understanding that integrates both past and present elements, thus fostering a more holistic cultural identity. Cultural resistance and global networks. Singh emphasizes the importance of forming a global network of resistance against imperialism. He believes that Indian writers should collaborate with progressive Western elements to build a strong literary tradition that resists neo-colonial influences rather than isolating themselves. Towards the end of the essay, Singh critically reflects on the current state of Indian literature and the ongoing challenges of decolonization. He calls for a conscious effort from Indian writers to address these challenges and reclaim their cultural identity through active engagement and critical thought. In essence, Namvar Singh's essay, Decolonizing the Indian Mind, is a profound critique of enduring influence of Western colonialism on Indian culture and intellect. He emphasizes that while political decolonization was a significant milestone, the deeper, more pervasive cultural and psychological colonization requires ongoing resistance and decolonization efforts. He critiques the hegemony of Western literature and problematic labels imposed by Western literary theorists, which continue to undermine the cultural independence of non Western literature. He calls for a renewed commitment to decolonization among Indian writers, urging them to write in their own language and draw from their rich and cultural heritage. He stresses the importance of forming global networks to resist against imperialism, warns against simplistic returns to pre colonial traditions. Instead, he advocates for a nuanced understanding of tradition and modernity, encouraging Indian writers to integrate elements from both the present and the past to create a holistic cultural identity. Ultimately, his essay is a call to action for Indian writers to critically engage with their colonial past and actively participate in ongoing process of decolonizing their minds and literature. By doing so, they can contribute to a richer, more diverse global literary landscape, one that values cultural and intellectual independence and resists the pervasive influence of neo-colonialism. With this, we conclude today's text, Decolonizing the Indian Mind. I hope you all understood the overview of this text. If you guys need a detailed notes for this text for your examination, do DM us on Instagram on our official page. It is for just rupees 20. It will be in a PDF or docs form. I do hope you guys share this with your friends and do subscribe the channel, and I will see you in the next video.